Everybody, hide your bones.
Can you
Don't talk about weird.
We're just talking
Can
about
you,
racial stuff.
title this one "Rip Willy"?
R.I.P. Willie. Welcome to Rick Snip and the Cool Kids.
The first one was R.I.P. Willie. That's when he
Yeah.
left and stayed out.
That's true.
Wait, at the beginning was Willie talking? Is that
Willie's-
recording?
Willie started.
Talk for a little bit. And
It's
then
like the progression of Willie.
Yeah, Willie's like just started talking, just like slowly stops and disappeared.
I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't feel.
I didn't think that he hit it. Well, he hit it hard, but
But I
like,
didn't think he hit it that hard.
yeah,
he
that's
had a
what I'm
lot.
saying. He did have
If
a
we're
lot.
talking
but-
about it, like
No, he had an extreme amount.
He did have a lot, but I thought that he just like.
We should probably check on him periodically.
he
though.
talked about like how.
Yeah, I know.
He was like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good."
I thought he'd have more, honestly.
Like in 5 minutes next.
Alright.
I just don't want him to like throw up in his.
Yeah, and on my bed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, it's about the
Your
fucking
bed, not his life?
Yeah. That's what
Wow.
I'm talking.
dick.
Is he on his side?
I hope Willie's on his side for the love of
Make sure
Christ.
he's on his side, Tyler. Let's go. Oh, you trying to fuck with some Peter?
No. We had that last
Everybody
You
has
bet.
had water, right? You're all drinking water now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam and I have been drinking water for a while.
This is a short
Well,
episode.
did you say we're in the podcast? Second podcast?
Yeah, this is the second part of the podcast.
You didn't do your intro.
Oh, okay. That's the intro. What's poppin'? It's Rick Snip.
Okay, I fuck with it.
So I'm here with my friends once again. We're just gonna... Willie's dead, and we just wanted to, like, talk about how alcohol is poison, and we poison ourselves for fun.
Alcohol is poison, yeah. Bro, isn't it weird that my mom called me and she's like, "Are you alright?" Like, listen, Mom, I threw up at my grandpa's 75th birthday once. Maybe for a few months. But I told her. I wasn't going to be like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm not." She was like, "Are you staying the night?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I think we're so I'm going to stay the night." And then she called me and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. You're calling me at midnight."
I'm sober, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
not.
I am.
Me and Willie are not.
I can do all the sober tests right now.
Willie's all right though.
Yeah.
He's
Just
all
so you
good.
W.
Willie's all good.
No one can do that to
No,
me.
my grandma taught me that.
I think that's like a skill where you learn.
ZWX?
No, ZYX.
ZYX.
W.
He
ZYXW.
said ZW.
ZX.
Oh yeah, you're not sober, bro. It's
Tyler,
all
go
good.
like this. Do the nose thing. Touch your
No,
nose.
you're in the perfect spot. You're right in between Owen and Willie.
Alright, so, how have you guys been?
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm a comfortable dude. What can I say?
I'm not gonna lie, you really were.
What'd you say? No.
I was just asking, how have you been since the last episode? I know it's been a week.
Yeah, we're chilling. I decided to put on the same clothes so we can
Jesus.
get the first.
Cameron, you are quite the character. Quite the card.
Thank-
Comedic genius. Anyway, you guys all look fucking tired. Tyler
Twitter doesn't
looks
think-
fucking dead.
Bro, he's good.
He normally
He
looks
said-
like that.
Bro said happy 21st.
Tyler, did you get sloppy for your 21st, or did you just get a little beer?
I'm not sloppy.
Sorry.
I'm still here.
That is true.
That is
If I close my eyes, I might end up. But
Switch the finger. That shit's hard to do.
Yo, what do you think about fidget spinners?
I honestly think that they're not bad. They're low-key fun. They're low-key fun. I fuck with them.
they're time passers.
Yeah, no, I do them just when I'm bored. It's just like, fuck yeah, spin that shit.
I got one for my. I would have never bought one for myself, but I got. I still play it like when I'm watching basketball or like doing homework. I'll spin it on one of my fingers. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So do you
See,
think it helps
it's a
you
skill.
focus?
That's a skill.
Sometimes.
I think it does. Depends on the
Or
person.
can it be like a distractor? Because I'm pretty sure it can be a distractor.
I think it's
definitely.
both.
It can be a distraction if you're trying not to do something, but if you're just using it to, like, I spin my drumsticks a lot when I'm just thinking. You know?
Oh, yeah, because you're a drummer, dude. My bad. We got big drummer out here.
Oh, you forget? You forget?
I love it. I love it, dude.
But
Do you have a neighbor? Do you have a roommate?
Yes.
these are electric drums. They play only in the headphones.
Nice.
And on your computer.
Yup.
And, you know,
How do we hear it?
I plugged it into the mixer. It can plug into amps, so I plugged it straight into the mixer.
So,
Nice.
Yep.
And
But
then
you could probably hear like a doom, doom,
yeah, his
doom,
roommates are
doom.
gonna hear.
I have the far corner room, so I'm not next to anybody. Also, there's mesh on the pads, so like it's gonna sound crisp in the fucking speaker, but it's not gonna sound loud on the when I hit the thing.
It probably sounds like Rock Band.
No, it's even better than Rock Band. It's like mesh pads, so like it absorbs all the sounds.
All right, bro.
It's
That's
like
what Rock Band
the only
sounds
thing
like.
it's loud is when I hit the cymbal, and I barely hit the cymbals. So
Are you recording?
yeah, I'm recording.
Yes, we are in the second podcast, Aaron. Come on now.
And we need to get some.
No, I just didn't know.
We need to get some juicy talks going on so we can. So
You guys remember
Oh, yeah.
Tent Talk? I miss Tent Talk, bro. This is like Tent Talk.
Bro, TikTok was the GOAT.
Hey, thanks for coming to my tent talk.
Your TED Talk?
TED talk.
I'm
That was
not
in
gonna
middle
lie.
school. That was in
And
middle school.
TikTok should have been invited to TikTok.
Agreed.
So another discussion for another time.
Oh yeah.
All right, we can do it now.
So yeah, like
Oh well.
I mean,
If you
guys
know
can,
who
like,
you are,
build
if the shoe fits,
If the shoe fits, it probably fits.
Okay.
he said,
if the shoe fits, lace them up.
Lace them up.
All right.
Bro,
So,
love that.
do you guys miss Alex Lamar?
Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Alex Lamar, bro. There's one moment I was at Lawrence's dorm, and me and Alex were having a conversation, drunk as shit. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I've never laughed so hard in my life. But it was with Alex Lamar, and I can't remember what I was laughing about. That shit was so fucking funny.
That is hard.
And then I tried to find him at a New Year's party.
Why did you try and fight him?
Another conversation for another time, my guy.
Five,
Wait.
sure.
We don't need to put that on.
Fine.
Was he swimming?
What does that mean?
Anyway,
Oh.
wait, didn't you do one with?
I tried to. We had technical difficulties, so we couldn't.
Podcast.
Oh yeah, it was really cool to talk to him on Discord for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, he wants to be on it with his sister, and I'm just gonna ask Amaya about how much puss she's crushing.
I was feeling
Huh?
I
I'm just
wasn't.
gonna ask Amaya about how much poon she's crushing.
Oh,
Wait, is she gonna be on one of your podcasts?
Yeah, with Alex. I have no question with
Oh,
Alex.
okay.
With Alex, I'm listening.
She's gonna roast the shit out of him, I swear, and I'm so excited. I feel like
is she actually though?
She would.
She's doing it.
That I don't see why she
Are
would.
you like, doing it or like actually gay?
Who?
No, doing the podcast.
Oh,
Amaya's bi.
because Daryl said he was gonna ask her about how much, some women stuff.
I must ask her how much ass she's crushing over at college, because I think that'll be fun to talk
Yeah.
about.
You
Both,
said
I
food.
guess, technically. I mean, both. She's actually doing the podcast, and Daryl's probably serious about it.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
Daryl,
go
this is
after a
gonna-
little bit.
I don't know what we're talking about.
It's fine. It's no worries. It's no worries. So,
He's not
fellas,
completely.
Wait, is she
Wait, I'm fucking.
crushing food?
New subject. What the fuck's up in your life, Daryl? You're asking
Maybe
us
we should
all.
like-
it's so
Yeah, I
nice to have people ask me questions on my own show. It's really fucking rude when people don't.
Whoa, hey!
we'll go back. Why
Both of these audio recordings are going to be not usable.
What? How is that not usable? We didn't talk shit about nobody.
No,
No,
we're not talking about anything.
Wait,
Fuck it. I fucking hate
Say,
is there a rule against your podcast?
No, I like it when people ask me questions. I think it's rude when I ask people a bunch of questions and they're like,
That's the point of your podcast.
yeah, that's the point.
You know what?
But
It's a
podcast-
conversation. But it's a conversation, and we should have a back and forth. It's not just a fourth from me. Okay?
Who do you hate the most?
What do you mean? Who do I hate the most?
Who out of anybody in the world?
His old roommate.
You like read my mind because I was like, should I say it or is that petty? I feel like it's petty.
I got you.
Because like
Yeah.
they were like really shitty to me, but like also I told you
I
guys
actually
like
meant-
that she texted me,
Met them?
trying to be friends.
I
with me.
meant the dude about. I meant the people you're talking about, like the Brita filter people.
Yeah, with the
Fuck those. Ooh.
Yeah. See?
Ooh. Nah, fuck you. Hey, Brandon, I'm gonna
Wait,
kick your ass. I hate your guts.
Yeah.
No, but no. As soon, no, I know.
And people.
That's not
And the second people.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, but here's the thing. You
All
said
of
your
your
old.
roommates besides your current ones. I don't know about your current ones, but
You said old roommates, and he immediately snapped the second one. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nah, I meant them too.
Yeah, fuck them niggas. Fuck all my old roommates. If we ever live together, eat my shit. I hate your guts.
He's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I just kicked them off my Hulu. Like a month ago, I kicked them off my Hulu. They're using my Hulu for like a year.
If I see any of some skanks coming into my apartment,
hey, so I'm trying to get my dick wet. I'm gonna get my dick wet.
That's what's up.
I'm gonna get into that school.
but hey,
What's cool?
Long Beach, yeah.
If I'm gonna get my dick wet,
Hey, Tyler going to Long Beach. I fucked with it, baby.
That's a little different.
not really.
It's a little different.
It's like
It's
a dorm.
Hello. I fuck
Dorms,
with that.
bro. Like, hey, bro, chill in the living room. Thanks. So
Okay,
turn
thank
on
you,
some-
bye. Okay, thank you, bye.
Thank
oh,
you.
man.
All right, so Tyler, what's your favorite type of girl? Like I'm sporty, scary, mean, tall, short. Would you date a girl who's taller than you?
What's a scary?
Well, yeah, what's a scary?
Big titty goth GF.
Nah.
Big titty. Not
The girl Paul hates. The girl Paul hates.
My favorite type, is that what you asked?
No, that's scary.
Yeah, what type of girls? Just what types?
I mean, I don't like.
What's something that, like, if you saw a girl do, or like a girl, just something, like you'd be like, damn, like that's extra.
Something really weird. But something about a girl's vocabulary. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I understand
Yeah.
that. I understand that
Like,
completely.
You like them?
Are you
smart.
talking about
Turns
when
me-
they're like, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
bitch, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah,
yeah.
like, God, blah, blah,
I mean, I talk like that, so I can't. That's kind of like stupid of me to say.
I hate the word fool.
Yeah,
Oh, that grinds me.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I hate. Yeah. Bro. If
I
you
don't
say fool or fool every like other
I was-
word,
That's fucking funny.
every other word on like end of every sentence, it's like I don't know. It's just like
That's a
it's
deal breaker?
annoying.
So,
I don't discriminate.
So-
I don't know.
girls have said girls don't really say.
So is like saying the N word after every sentence.
The
I
N
know.
word kind of like.
yeah.
I don't
that's
like.
kinda
I don't like either of those. Well, all three of those really.
I don't really discriminate though.
All right,
The N word is one thing that like would like
Oh,
completely
just on the
turn me off,
podcast.
but-
down there. This motherfucker just.
You talking about other bitches?
Hey, y'all ever
What? Oh, okay, I get it.
Did you
What?
just- did you
Sunday.
say, yo, like Wayne tomorrow?
Yeah, I didn't even time.
Hey, y'all
Yeah, I
ever see like a group of white people and be like, damn, I would be friends with them, but they look like they say the M word when they get comfortable.
Yeah. I feel like people think that about me. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like people look at me and like
that's
say he probably says the N word.
I feel like
Okay.
that whenever I see white people around school, I'm just sort of like, they probably do say nigga when they're bored or they're like excited. And you know what? I don't need a
Excited.
headache.
I'm scared people say that about me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's
If we're talking about insecurities, that's one thing. Like I
You're
don't know.
afraid you look racist?
Not look racist, but like
Like a
people
fuck
look at
you.
me and say, like I
You
don't
know-
really want to be friends with him.
People don't see that as racist though.
Some people.
Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. Some people don't see that as racist. Like they say like that's
What?
just another word.
Mm.
So
Are
I
you
mean,
saying,
you
like
probably-
the N-word?
yeah.
It's like another word?
Well, I feel like no. I'm saying some people feel like that.
Oh,
Like for sure. Like if some people thought Tyler would say it,
yeah.
they probably don't.
Bro,
Those are the same people who probably
how
don't think
many
that
people have been
racist.
messaging-
They just think he says it.
I
Same person.
actually
Oh,
don't.
okay. I thought it was different people
What is it?
because I keep saying this.
I actually don't like think that.
No,
It's, you know, like,
No, I'm not.
I don't know. That's just
Yeah.
something. No,
I don't notice
It's the
it
same
until I hear him say it, you know, and I'm like, oh. How do you feel about the N word, Daryl? I saw a tweet today that someone finally said like, well, not finally, but I've actually seen a lot of tweets where people say like
I mean, yes, but like not
a black
something
person
I'm
said they
into.
don't feel like we
Oh,
should say
not-
the N word.
Just into.
I don't know.
How do you feel about that?
Okay.
I feel like it's my word to use as I want, but I feel like some people just shouldn't say it in my presence or at all. Like, I feel like if I'm around, you shouldn't feel comfortable to say it. I feel like you should be like, like you need to come strong, like you're trying to offend me, or you just need to not say it. Not like don't do it because you think we're close, like, because that's not a sign of you and me being close.
You talking about the N-word?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I asked him because like
I feel like not comfortable at all.
Well, yeah, like people feel comfortable saying it in their own homes, and sometimes they feel comfortable saying it outside their home. Like, are you saying like they shouldn't be able to feel they shouldn't feel comfortable saying it around? And are you saying it's okay for them to say it in their homes, or like they should say it in their? Well, you can't really stop.
I don't know what they're gonna do in their own homes. I don't.
You can't stop.
When they come around me, I want them to be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say that in front of him. That's why I want my goatee to connect to my beard. I want them to be like, nah, Daryl will.
Oh my!
I want to be intimidating to white people.
Bro, 'cause there are people like you can just like you look at them and like I'm assuming that people aren't gonna say the N-word around them.
Anytime I see an Asian dude with a dad hat on and like a bomber jacket, I know he says the N-word. Anytime I see a Bay Area Asian dude, I know he says the N-word. I know that nigga says the N-word.
That's it.
You know what's weird is like people get just like by an African American dude.
Oh, like you mean like just walking down the street and like
yeah, like because one time Aaron and I went to a movie super down in like Riverside, and we were walking back to our apartment, and then like a group of black guys were walking, and they were just like, "How's it going?" She's like, "Good."
Remember.
Yeah,
he's probably drunk.
Yeah.
Probably.
My whole thing is that why people don't think that white I don't want to say white privilege is a thing
He's
people
drunk.
don't take. If that makes sense. Like if at least famous people, if somebody of color says something, I think what they say is going to be like lessened than what like somebody
White person said.
of a white person says is going to
You're
be
saying
taken.
like
Some
Oh, I
people
think
can
I know
take
what you're
advantage of
their platform.
what they have
Yeah.
or what people assume
Okay.
is their privilege.
I feel like some people like. I feel like we're not being able to see the people who actually do. I saw a video on Twitter like 2 days ago, and like some guy who was black was like protesting the police,
Mm-hmm.
and like the police officers were trying to like pull him down, but like some white people were like blocking them off.
That's what I meant.
And the police officers weren't like moving, like they were just trying to reach through and grab. I'm like, I feel like they understood that. Oh, I'm not going to be touched, but what this person's saying is real. Block them.
That's kind of what I meant.
Yeah,
Like,
I just yeah.
if a person of color is talking about like Black Lives Matter, it's not going to be taken as serious as if a white actor is talking about black privilege, because not what that white actor broadcasted on CNN talking about like, oh, this person talking about this, but if like any person of color is saying it, it's gonna be taken as like, oh, it's another person saying it. If that makes sense.
If we ever do a podcast together, Daryl, one thing we cannot talk about is Black Lives Matter, because that really like it really upsets me about like everything that's happened through that, and I don't know. I really don't like talking. Really get like upset about it when people like make jokes about it and say like, oh, that's stupid. You know, all lives matter. Like,
I agree.
It really makes me upset about stuff like that, because it's not like I feel like the whole foundation behind Black Lives Matter. And look at I'm talking about it. A whole foundation behind Black. Not to say other people's lives don't matter, but it's to say that we shouldn't be seen as animals. We shouldn't be seen as threats. We should be seen as people, and our lives shouldn't be taken away because you thought we're thugs just because we're walking home from a liquor store. We're sleeping in our cars, you know, like.
I agree.
What?
I understand. I 100% get it. Yeah.
And that stuff, like, that really gets to me when people just like knock it down and say, "Oh, that's stupid." Like, all lives matter.
I agree, and Black Lives Matter. When people say all lives matter, takes away from the like.
They're pretty much like
the
saying
systematic oppression of people of color. I don't know. It takes like well aspect of Black Lives Matter away when people say all lives matter.
I feel like they're making it into like, oh, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Like the Blue Lives Matter shit is so buck wild. It's so wild.
You say Black Lives.
I actually like deal with like that exact some of that exact kind of like instances in like my classes. It's like I have that hip hop class.
Yeah.
And then like it's definitely like portrayed like how like hip hop artists or commonly African Americans obviously.
Taken to jail and stuff.
And then like all perceived as like thugs and stuff like that.
Nobody in their entire life should have to have a conversation with their kids about what to do when they get pulled over, to like exactly what the fuck to do. Like the fact that you have to have a conversation with your kid that you have to do exactly what you have to do, or else you might get shot, is outrageous to me.
Okay, yeah. See, do exactly what you have to do to where you like might get shot, but I think all parents should have to tell their kids what to do.
Well, yeah,
the fact that should, but honestly, I still don't feel like white parents like have to do it.
No.
Drill it into your head.
If I get pulled over, my parents are scared that I'm going to be in trouble once I get pulled over.
No,
that's the difference.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying. I think
I feel like
the conversation in general
that.
should, but I don't think that it's like necessary to certain races.
Yeah, like for black people, it's like a need. For other people, it's like a you should.
Yeah,
like it's just a simple conversation. Like my parents, for you guys, it's a serious conversation. It's like
a survival skill.
It's like a common conversation you have.
And my dumbass reads comments on Twitter a lot.
Oof.
Don't know why. Some of them are funny, some of them are really bad. But most of the time, I see stuff like bad stuff happening on like with police officers and stuff. I always read the stuff like, "Oh, he should have complied," when literally the man's face is in the ground with a knee in the back of his head. Like, there's no ever a reason for that type of force. And my thing is, when someone doesn't have a gun, and okay, I like to start off with this. I don't think police officers are bad. I haven't had a bad experience with a police officer. I think there are bad people, and who are just
obviously
power. Like they have power, and they know they have a gun. They know they can end someone's life, and I feel like they don't take that seriously.
Yeah,
I haven't had a bad experience with a police officer. I've been pulled over 3 times.
I think that goes with most people.
I've been pulled over 3 times.
What?
Got 2 tickets.
I want for speeding.
Sorry, I'm gonna butt in with you. I've been 4 times going over 90, and I've never gotten a ticket. You've been pulled over twice. One for going through a red light, and one was
the light was yellow. I like to say
my
that.
bad, yellow.
I
was
speeding at 80 miles per hour in California. The speed limit's 70 to 75.
I've been pulled over once for going 90, one for going 110, and one going for 95. I've never gotten a ticket.
Yeah.
110.
I've never gotten a ticket.
Bro, you should have.
Dude, I got a ticket because I cut off a cop. I used my blinker and everything, and he's like, "You cut me off."
Okay, come on now.
No. He had plenty of time.
Cut off the cops too, though. Like, that's another thing. Why do cops get it okay to do?
That's true.
To be above the law.
They drive like us.
Yeah, they drive. They'll cut you off and go 90 right on the ramp. They'll just start. I'm like, oh man, okay. If I did that, I'd be getting pulled over.
That shit's nice as fuck.
Yeah.
But still, I understand that there's a lot of good cops out there. And I'm not saying there isn't good cops. The thing is, when I get pulled over, I know a police officer has a gun. I know they have the tool to take someone's life. I understand that you have to you have to trust in the police officers to do the right thing. But still, that fear is still inside me, because I still know, what if it's not the right cop? Even though it could be 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 100. That one can change. That one can change. That one can change my life. That 0.5% can change.
And I don't think it's 1 in a million. I think I think the biggest issue is that if that behavior's on, for me, in my opinion, if one cop in one precinct is doing it, it's tolerated by it's going to be tolerated, enforced, and supported by everyone else there. If I go into a precinct and I say, this officer mishandled me, no one else in the place is going to be well, we need to get rid of this fucking dude. I'm going to get dismissed.
All the times where, there's oh, he's not getting paid for a week. Or we asked him. We asked him for leave for a week. You didn't fix anything.
No, you just said like, hey, take this week off and think about what you did. That's
A
time out.
vacation.
That's what it is.
A vacation. It's literally a vacation.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with what you just said, Daryl, because that stuff it's like it's pretty much being promoted. Like hey, you didn't do wrong. You did your job.
It's
like
not,
no, you didn't do your job. Your job is to protect and serve, not to like harass.
It's not even a slap on the wrist. Some people say like a punishment is a slap on the wrist. That's not even a slap on the wrist. That's like
it's a paid vacation.
It's
That's
literally like, hey,
like,
fuck it. Like that doesn't make sense.
It's damn near rewarded. Like it's a paid vacation.
You're on thin ice, buddy. Nah, that thing is thick as fuck.
But here, take this paid vacation.
That's a greasy grove thick.
Yeah, no, they just like when they do that, it just shows that like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. And that's what like bothers so many people. It's like this guy clearly like went above it, and they just were like, "Oh well, fuck it."
Exactly. Like I don't understand that. And then people will say like, "Well, you have to like tie in like the black community and the police officers," but when you do that, you really are just separating the two.
Yeah, but then aren't you doing the exact cause?
Yeah, like you're part of the problem. Like that's why you feel like you can't trust police officers, even though like the good. Well, what if it's the bad one?
Yeah.
And
And like one bad cop can ruin thousands of lives.
They want like the community, like black community doesn't trust police officers. So, but they want them to trust them and like just comply with what the officer says. And I understand you have to comply, but when people do bad things and you still comply and they don't get punished for it, you're not gonna trust them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they want them to trust them, but like you have to give the repercussions to the ones that don't deserve it.
All right.
Yeah.
And that will start, like, okay, well, I know if this police officer does, he's gonna get kicked out, and the good ones are gonna stay, and then now I can.
Yeah.
But that's.
Plus, there's also like no legal way you can defend yourself if you're dealing with a shit cop. Like, if someone's just beating your ass and, like, like, they shouldn't be able to do that, anything you do to try and defend yourself is going to be taken as more resistance. And then you're going to get more charges.
Like an officer, which just makes it even worse, right?
Yeah.
And
you're going to need a really good attorney that's going to cost you a lot of money, and in the end, you're going to have to pay to, like, be acquitted of what you've been charged for.
Exactly.
And then, like, you're going to be, like, you do everything right. Then you protect yourself. Might not even hit them. You just like protect yourself. But I guarantee you'll be portrayed as a thug.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
not as someone's defending their life. You're portrayed as a thug, someone who's trying to fight the police.
It's very rarely that even on. Bullshit. I mean, I've just seen most stuff on Twitter. I don't read the news much, but more. Everything I see on Twitter is people use mugshots more than like a family picture. Even if they've like been acquitted of everything, they're gonna use the mugshot more than anything.
Probably the first mugshot too.
Yeah,
have you seen that Zach Fox tweet? It's like white people be in the news like this after murdering their whole family, and it's a picture of a dude on a jet ski with his. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Like they always use pictures of people with their families when it's white people, and it's like this man murdered his whole family and his 2 baby daughters, and it's a picture.
And then at the end of that, it's like trauma, but he was like,
oh, he had mental health.
Or he had mental health problems, or he's like. But he loved his family, but like it's unknown that he had hated his family.
Like fucking that guy who they're making that made on Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, he's a fucking murderer.
Yeah, he's a murderer. Oh, but he's a family man outside his murdering career.
No, he's a murderer. Like, he literally killed him.
That's actually a weird ass.
They portrayed him as a family man, right?
The whole Dateline culture of like watching those shows is fucking weird.
That's a weird culture too. Like watching murderers?
Yeah, watching rapists, basically.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
And they never do it for like black. Like there's not like if there's a black serial killer, he's usually just a gangster, and they're not like, but what made it? They're just like, oh, he's a gangster. He's killed a lot of people. If it's a white serial killer, it's like, but why did he chop up the bodies and have sex with the heads? It's like, does that really matter?
It's like at 4 years old, like, nah, he's just a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
It's like it's so interesting. No, it's not. It's gross.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know what gets me too? When people defend bad police officers.
Yeah.
About how they're like, well, black people kill other black people.
Dude, that pisses
What?
me
This
off.
is true, but this doesn't. Just because like you don't think that you think we're okay.
Yeah,
Black
no
people
one's
kill another
fucking
black
okay with that.
Yeah,
No one's okay with
and-
black on black crime.
Yeah, just I feel like you just need to like that's their go-to, and like okay. First of all, I'm not gonna say that's a good thing, but every race kills like every race, and like there's a bunch of bad people in every race. But that doesn't give you the right to say like he's black. He probably like was gonna kill another black person, so you know
Why
it's
is that
okay.
even a valid?
That's
form
not.
of,
That's
like,
that's not. That's like
That's
It's not.
what's the word? Correlation.
no
correlation
correlation.
does not imply causation.
Yeah.
It's like that's like when people you.
It's like
Sorry
a
if I offend.
story.
Not really. I'm not really sorry. That's like
Use
it
what?
just
So
doesn't-
you cut out a
I feel like
But
I
use
feel like it
religion.
doesn't. I said like when people use religion in arguments, and the reason why I don't like religions in arguments because if you're arguing with someone who doesn't like who's an atheist or doesn't like believe in religion, you're pretty much telling them like, hey, you can't do this because what I believe in.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like you should like if you're arguing with someone or debating with someone, you should try to get them on your
Logic?
side. Yeah, like use law, not use. Well, I'm not even saying like
and
logic.
that's-
Well, yeah, like
But, like-
fact, not belief.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and a problem with a lot of arguments today now is like people are shouting at each other instead of persuading and having a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's not. It's never a conversation.
And
Yeah.
half the time it's not backed by facts or
It's just
logic.
shouting.
It's just like I believe this and you're wrong because I believe this.
Because like about I think I had this conversation with you, Tyler, about like gay people. How like people be like, oh, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. But like that, I hate that.
Yes.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But if someone doesn't believe in God,
But-
Yeah.
you're telling them that a magical being in the sky said that you can't be happy. Like that's in their head. So like you should say why you don't think without using your religion. Like you don't think it should be okay to use your
right.
religion.
And like
And I believe in God.
the thing with
so,
I'm about to say I grew up religious and I'm still religious, but at the same time like I understand like you're attracted to who you want to be attracted to. Like you can't control who you're attracted to. Like I don't know.
and other people's lives shouldn't like
You worry about your
why
life.
does that bother you?
Yeah.
Worry about what
Yeah.
you're doing. Be like right
Yeah,
with God.
Yeah,
Like,
like
if
half
you're-
the Bible is like, don't judge people.
Be right with God. And I understand like the Bible says like preach what you believe, but at the same time, like if somebody doesn't believe in what you believe in, preach to somebody that believes what you believe in.
God also says don't judge other people.
Yeah.
Judge people the way you treat people the way you.
And why is it like why does someone else's life have to like ruffle your feathers so much where you have to be like, well, God, you know, like
And like they get rough like in like two guys or two girls just like kiss each other. Not make out, literally just kiss each other. Like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, it's super
Making
weird.
out on the floor in public.
So
and you're
you
like,
see
well,
I think
like, bro, fucking chill.
I think a lot of stuff that has to do with religion has like I think people see the top whatever. I'm not gonna say 2% because it's probably like top 25%, but the 25% of people that are like outrageous religious talk about how same-sex marriage and all this stuff is wrong, but like the other 75% is usually like okay with, which is gives a lot of like religious people a bad. Because I was raised religious and my whole family was religious, but I don't give a shit what people do with their lives. I do what I need to do, and I'm like talk to people like if they want to believe what I go for it. If you don't, like okay.
and they say stuff like, "Oh, you're sinning." What makes their sin worse than your sins? Like there isn't comparative sinning.
Yeah, it's not like
You're having
it's like,
sex.
no, that's a tier 3 sin.
You're having
It's not like the good place. There's no
Yeah,
point.
tier 1, you might make it,
Yeah.
but if you're tier 3, you're not. You're okay.
Yeah.
Like just forget about it.
sex before marriage is a sin. Being jealous is a sin.
My whole
Blood
thing
is
is, I had a conversation. One of my, have I talked to you about? So one of my closest friends is super religious. I had a conversation with her. I talked to her like my biggest pet peeve is why are like Christian people so like upset with homophobia? Like they're really homophobic. But if they'll still sit next to somebody that has committed adultery, but in the Bible they're still on the same level. Why is that okay in the church?
I don't know. That's all.
That shit's still
No, I
mind
got it was a
boggling to me.
mistake, but being gay.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know. And everything's situational. Again, everything in life is situational. But, like, the fact that you're going to, like, if you cheated on your wife, I'm going to be okay with you.
Exactly.
If you're gay, I can't fuck with you.
Yeah. I don't know about that, Chief.
People
I
are.
don't know if I can be with you no more.
I think
Like,
a lot of those people, like, religion's not really about, like, their belief. It's more of a tool to, like, tell other people what to do, you know?
I think people relate religion and morals too much together, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, why can't you have personal morals rather than, like, religious morals?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Like, why can't you separate them?
but at the same
Like a
time,
guy.
religion has, like, the
Like a
certain
dude
set
gist.
of rules, so I understand that. But at the same time, I don't know. It's weird. Religion's always been weird to me.
Yeah, because, like I said, like, sex before marriage was a sin. And that's why people was getting married at 14 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it
Let's
has
not
to do
do
with
that.
decades in time.
That's why they're like, oh, I got her pregnant, now I have to marry her so my parents don't think I sinned.
Yeah. Or, like,
Everything has to do with, like, time.
Yeah, that was like a shotgun wedding.
And yeah, like you said, in like early like New Testament time, they were getting married at 14. Now we get married at maybe like 25. Like normally, I feel like more our generation gets married. I mean, there's a lot of people in our class that gets getting married right now, but a lot of people in like our but like a lot of people don't get married to like between 23 and 28. And people were getting married at 14 in the New Testament. I think times changed.
You find the one, but
True.
Not at 14.
60,
I'm being honest, not at 14.
Is it closer to 60% of marriages end up in divorce? It's just
now.
It's like
That's another conversation, though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to
You guys think you'll ever get divorced?
I really
What?
want to have this conversation.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
feel
You guys think
Oh,
you'll
he-
ever get divorced? You think you'll get divorced?
we're having a conversation.
What were you saying, Daryl?
You think we'll get divorced?
You think you'll ever get
I
divorced?
think I'm too picky about who the fuck I'm gonna date and marry that I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And I think divorce is like a Band-Aid fix to a problem. And I think it's become like easy to just be like, I want a divorce. So it
It does seem.
normalizes it.
Yeah,
And that was like a commitment for life.
I think the percentage normalizes it. The fact that everybody's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get a divorce." Like I don't want to be.
Well,
with this
society
person.
normalizes it too.
Yeah,
I mean, you did this commitment with this person for the rest of your life, and then it's just like, well, I don't want to work at this thing that's hard. That's noted to be hard.
Yeah.
That's gonna. They're just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I feel like there's certain cases where it's like,
We're right. Certain cases it's fine.
and
if
like,
you're being like
Yeah,
divorce them.
yeah.
There's no reason to stay with them. But at the same time, if you're just having
You
an
shouldn't.
argument, like
If your
talk
spouse
about
is
it,
constantly cheating, divorce them.
Yeah.
or if you're physically like, if your spouse is making you unhappy or like lowering your quality of life, either talk to them and try to work it out. But if you have talked about it multiple times and there's no way of you systematically being able to fix it, I feel like that's another reason.
I feel like divorce is worse if you have kids. Like, if
Yes.
you don't have a
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
divorce is like, it's
Whatever.
like, it happens.
Whatever.
Like,
I feel like-
not that it happens,
But
like,
I think that takes a part in the society normal. Like if two people didn't have kids and they get a divorce, it's normalized. Two people have kids and they get divorced, it's people are gonna say, oh, but my friends got divorced, it's normalized. They don't like take
that's true.
into consideration the kids that they have.
Yeah.
I think they just see the word divorce and be like, okay, it's normal. They don't take into consideration like
And
the variables in their life.
I feel like too often it's like a first solution
Yeah,
to like
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah.
It's just like just get a
It's an
divorce
easy
instead of
solution.
addressing- Yeah.
how you feel about it,
rather than having
Daryl?
the full conversation.
I feel like divorce is, yeah, I feel like a lot of people should, like, work more and, like, trying to build something better, because, like, if you do throw it away, it becomes that much harder to, like, find that level of connection with another person. And, like,
Yeah.
going forward, you're not going to be as, like, you should know yourself, like, pretty well before you decide to get married. If you're figuring out who you are while you're marrying someone, and then you still have to figure out who they are, you're probably not going to be all that, like, you know, like, what can you accept, what can you tolerate, what can you handle in a relationship, and what can't you? Because if you don't know
How do
any of
you-
those things, you can't marry someone.
How do you feel about, because I hear both sides of this, moving in with someone
Oh.
before you marry them. I hear that
I
you
was just about to bring
I
this
hear
up.
that you shouldn't, and I also hear that you
I was
should.
just about to bring this shit up.
I think you should.
I agree completely. If you want to marry somebody, you're not going to know who the fuck they are until you move in with them. My dad's
Absolutely
on
move in. Absolutely.
opposite side of the spectrum, and I've had multiple conversations with him. But he's really religious about. He has a really religious aspect. But I mean, if you live with someone, you don't have to have sex with them.
No, I'm not saying you have to, but it's implied that you are.
It probably.
Yeah.
It's just sleeping with somebody. Like religion thinks of you sleeping in the same bed as somebody almost as premarital sex, right?
Yeah.
So my dad thinks like you at the time where you think you're going to get married, you should know somebody completely. But when you start living with somebody, they're completely like. If I start living with one of these guys, they could be from what I like think of like who they are. Like I'm not saying you are, but like you could be completely dirty, and I might not.
See, like you can have a. You can be a clean freak, person, right? And your girlfriend knows that, so she cleans every time before you get there.
Yeah,
but once you live with her, it's her clothes are everywhere. She doesn't take trash out of her car. Not a shot, kind of shot.
It's a shot.
She doesn't have like a bed. She just has a mattress on the floor.
Like I don't know. I don't know.
Mattress on the floor. That's a no go for me.
I'll live with it. She might just not have enough.
Mattress on the floor is not.
She might just not have enough for like a full bed frame.
I'd buy you a bed. If I saw a girl with a mattress on the floor, I'd low key just cop
it. Why do you need a bed frame? What if you just don't
Yeah. There's like some people
like my cousin does like bed frame like
layers.
Yeah, it's not that big. I don't know.
I don't think it's bad, but I think like if I'm in a long-term relationship with someone, I would just buy them a fucking bed frame. You're not gonna sleep on the floor.
Oh, in the living room, that's
okay. I'm saying, any room could like technically.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mattress on the floor is not that big of a deal.
I don't think it's a big deal. I just think it's not an ideal living situation, and that's something I would try to amend as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But back on the original question, premarital living together.
Absolutely.
I think it's a must.
Absolutely, you have to.
I would here's the thing. Like at first, when you move in with someone, they're gonna try a lot, and then eventually they're gonna fall back into their routine, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to get to know that routine, and if you can deal with that,
people can put on a front for as long, and then once they get comfortable, that's when they go back to who they really are.
Yeah.
Right.
We all live behind masks. That was a really good question. These have all been really good discussions, and I'm very proud of everyone's involvement.
Daryl tweeted something like, "My friends are really woke."
I'm gonna be called fake woke. I already know it.
Yeah, for sure. It's like basic ass questions, but we're like have enough alcohol in our system so they think like
I'm sober.
I'm not.
This is a meaningful.
This is a meaningful. Not saying too seriously, but take it seriously.
Everything I said, I meant. I meant what I said and said what I meant.
Hey,
low key same.
Cam's real woke. Cam's actually real woke.
He said, "Yeah, I'm awake."
I'll be sleeping. No working.
Willie is.
I'm gonna take it back to like what you guys were talking about with the Black Lives Matter thing. I think a lot of problems with the police system is that even like black cops, when they're taught in the system, they're like the system programs them to. I don't know how to word this.
Like the training that they go through sort of makes them more biased towards black people also.
Yeah. I think there's a systematic oppression that they're taught, like, because of the statistics and stuff.
It's probably subtle, too.
Yeah. They don't, like, straight up say, like, hey, you're going to go to this community, it's predominantly black, but you're going to be making a lot of arrests. Like, I think it's more, like, subtly taught that way, so most people are taught.
Yeah, like they'll say, like, this is a dangerous neighborhood, or this is a high-risk area.
I mean, it might not actually be, but they're making more arrests there because that's what they're taught.
I also see, like, talking about, like, how they don't...
I'm going to go check. Make sure
you're right.
He's probably knocked out. He turned off the light.
I also hear that, like, how they don't, like, bring the light, the bad police. I hear that, like, sometimes, like, black cops, like, you know, if they bring it up or say something, they might lose their job.
Yeah.
Or they might not be able to get higher in their job because now they're known as...
They're like a snitch. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
even though I don't know how a cop can call another cop a snitch. But, yeah, but that pretty much that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the cops be like,
that's
fuck 12, bro. No narcs. No narcs.
Even, like, this is kind of the same subject, but kind of different. But that's why I enjoy watching the NBA so much compared to the NFL, because the NBA, like, pushes their players to, like, speak out on
He's not choking.
topics like this, but the NFL is like suppressing everything.
I think that means
like
Okay,
Colin
just
Kaepernick
making
situation,
Yeah.
suppressing everything. That's why I enjoyed like the NBA so much because they're like, hey, promote what the fuck you think about and stick with that. But the NFL is like, suppress everything you think about. This is just a game.
Yeah, that's
But
what I don't fuck with.
That type of platform, you have a much
Yeah.
bigger voice. Than
That's their highest platform. That's when everyone's seeing them. Even though for all you fake people watching who are upset about that kneeling and change the channel anyway.
Motherfucker, do some motherfucking research.
They change the channel when the national anthem comes on anyway.
Yeah, how many people actually stand in their home?
Or if you go to
They
the
don't
game,
show. It's like the Super Bowl.
if you're at the game, how many people take off their hats? That's like one of the basic principles of the national anthem. Please take off your hat, put it over your heart when people take off their hats.
Like,
How many people sing the national anthem?
I just want to know how many people.
I just want to throw out like a fact
For
point
the
here.
Super Bowl.
You know, like Colin
Oh,
Kaepernick,
like,
like
actually, yeah, I
got
got
with
you.
like a veteran,
Exactly.
and then figure out like what would be
The
respectful.
kneeling,
Yeah.
he would have sat, but a veteran told him like kneeling is more respectful than sitting.
Oh, yeah, that was-
So then
they
he
used
did
to
that.
do that in like, and I forget like what exact military protocol was doing, but that like they did that in the military.
Wait,
Like-
that was on Twitter. I feel like the people who didn't want to see it didn't look at it.
But the same,
Yeah.
but it's
like
I don't know.
well,
A lot
he's
of
black,
politics
and
is
he's not.
a lot of
You
people
know?
that don't want to like educate
Alright.
themselves. They're gonna think, oh, he's kneeling because he hates the national anthem. Like, no, he's using the national anthem for a bigger stage than what the fuck he's actually like.
I think he
What
made
the
that
people
abundantly
think.
clear that he wasn't protesting.
He hates America.
Like, no, there's just
They said
systematic
anthem protest.
oppression.
They said
Like,
not the
people are
anthem.
dying for no reason. Let me talk about it.
He hates America.
Do you
And
have-
now he's out of a job because of it.
Do you also have to think that has to do with like the media and like bylines and headlines and stuff like that?
Yeah,
not
Absolutely.
being
Yeah, because they use
That-
that to sell papers.
And reading a headline and not an.
an
Yes.
article. Yeah.
And I still like as much as I know that like the NFL a lot of shit economically, NFL is terrible for social issues. They're suppressing what the fuck people are saying.
Well, yeah, because it pulls away from like the communities that they actually came from, right? Because then they're supposed to be held to like a higher standard and stuff like that.
And they're suppressing. They're saying, "Hey, Kaepernick, you can't get a job anymore because you're like trying to
That's
protest what the fuck
collusion.
you
I
want."
think he
That's
filed
just
a settlement though.
he did now, but they didn't like
No,
That's
the
just
fact that
no
they
one
didn't.
wants-
What like
Yeah.
the fact that they disclosed what he made from that is another thing where it's like you're keeping it under wraps. If he made a certain amount, why not make it abundantly clear? Like, hey, we fucked up. We gave him this amount because he's out of a job.
Yeah.
He's out of a job because of what the fuck we want to keep under wraps. Let's tell him what we made, and like it is what it is.
You know what's crazy? Colin Kaepernick took a knee because people were getting killed by police officers in an unjust way. Well, getting killed by police officers unjust.
you know what the media wrote?
Wait, no.
Colin Kaepernick protest anthem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's what's messed up. But hey, no one wants to hire him. No one can give him a job, man. Ray Rice punched a woman in the face in
Got
an
a 1 year
elevator
suspension.
and came back to the NFL.
A 1 year suspension for it.
Wait, I thought he didn't play.
He was allowed back in the NFL.
He was allowed back.
They're still like we don't know Colin Kaepernick.
Colin isn't technically suspended, but
No.
he's never going to get a job.
But
in the
what
NFL because of
spectrum is that? That's you can compare those two.
No, yeah,
it.
no.
Colin
I agree.
Kaepernick didn't do a single thing wrong legally.
Although I would just like to point out the fact that I don't think Colin Kaepernick was a phenomenal quarterback.
He wasn't phenomenal,
I
but
think
at
he
the time when
definitely-
he started it, he could have gotten at least a backup job. You're telling me he
No,
wasn't
no,
a backup?
I agree. No, I'm not saying that at all.
About
I'm
Colin
just-
Kaepernick on football, I think he was one of the leaders in the mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I think that's what really
mean,
and then people realize keep him in a box and try to make him be a pocket quarterback. And
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think that's what it is. Because once he was when he was able to scramble, he was killing people.
Yeah, and also they're like, and I'm not saying like owners are right in any way to do this. I don't think they're. But another big issue of it was like if we hired if we signed Colin Kaepernick, it's like as a backup. It's like, do we want our backup quarterback causing headlines?
But at the same time, I'm gonna bring up made it that promotion for Colin Kaepernick, and their sales went up like 150%.
No,
Right? So then you take that into the NFL, which might be different because the NFL's audience is different
Yeah.
than Nike's.
No, I agree.
So, but the I don't know. I think their target audience might have been like it's one of those risks that I would have taken as an owner, but I'm not an NFL owner.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
I feel like they're not focused on rights; they're focused on money.
I just want to make it clear that I wasn't arguing against him.
Yeah,
I was just saying, like,
no, I understand.
Someone to hear this and be like, "Oh,
he's racist." No,
yeah,
it's the as an owner, you don't want the owners don't want to get less money.
Yeah,
right.
And I feel like that's why someone didn't want to hire.
Yeah, historically, the NFL's not good at this. Remember that gay player that was on the Dolphins, and like a bunch of players in the locker room were like, "If he's in there, I'm not going to change," and the NFL didn't do anything about it. Like at all.
That's what brought up the NBA.
Wasn't he like hazed and shit like that?
Yeah,
that too. Yeah. Like they did not fuck with him, and the NFL was like, "Oh well, sorry."
Well, they're grown men.
That's why I brought up the NBA. NBA is like
more progressive.
It's progressive. Like it tells like players, "Hey, speak what you mean." And then they had an openly gay player on the Nets, and like everybody, like all the headlines were like, "Hey, he's the first gay athlete to actually like come out and be like accepted."
You shouldn't feel uncomfortable for your sexuality.
The league doesn't really have anything to do with like the perception, like that kind of thing.
No, it shouldn't. Yeah. I mean, but still, I don't know.
I feel like you shouldn't like allow stuff to an athlete because he's.
There shouldn't be hazing in general.
They shouldn't be hazing, and they weren't like I don't know.
Oh,
I think that's super under like scrutiny right now because like some kid died over it at the summer. I think
that's wrong.
Yeah,
dude.
Frats in general are just fucking wild to me.
Yeah, frats are so dumb. It's like
frats are the dumbest shit. Hey, do all this shit, stupid shit that could possibly kill you or make you like seen as less of an individual,
and then give me
might think
and
about
then
you.
Give me money, and then we'll be
triangle T triangle forever.
Triangle T triangle.
Hey, let me burn you with this cattle brand so that people know that we're friends. Absolutely, fucking not. No, thank you.
Weren't you in a frat and then they wanted to brand you and you're like, no, I'm not fucking doing.
That was the first thing I asked about. I was like, hey, I heard you guys brand people. Is that true? And they were like, don't even worry about it.
Dude, that's what Logan does.
Yeah, they're like, when the time comes, you'll know what to do. And I was like, yeah, when the time comes and it's between being your friend and getting burned, I'm gonna not be your friend.
Yeah, dude. Logan tried so hard. He said, bro, just come to one thing. But he wouldn't say a fucking thing of any of the
bro, I have a class with him, right? Like, the fucking odds, and he's like, bro, you should rush. It's like, well, what am I going to do? He's like,
yeah,
stuff.
Bro,
I'm like,
this is me.
I like that the government.
So stupid.
I was talking to somebody. I can't remember what his name. It was Jordan JP about Michael Silva about one of his friends. They said something about like they blindfolded him and pretended like they put their dick in their mouth. Make sure like that was their running like one of their things they had to run for. Like when they're trying to get into the.
How do you pretend to put your dick?
I don't know. It was like
like
you had to pretend to suck somebody's dick and you didn't think it was actual fake dick. Like you thought it was a real dick just to run for a frat. You got me. That's I don't know, that's real weird.
What do you get?
It's like that's almost rape.
Yeah, it is like weird sexual harassment and like assault. It's real creepy.
What do you get from that? Hey, people listen to the podcast. Comment, tell us what you get from that because I need to know.
I mean, if we're talking about rape culture, that's rape culture.
Technically, I guess.
It's creepy.
Those are the.
But I think it's important to like define rape culture. If you
rape culture is
the term.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
No. We can. No. Well, I guess
I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about.
We were talking about something yesterday about the difference between. Well, not the difference. Mostly the reason why it's like hard to be. Well, we don't know why it's hard to be one, but we can. But we can like make guesses, and we're talking about how guys can go to the gas station at night, but girls are afraid to go to the gas station.
Oh yeah, we were talking basically how much scarier it is to be a female than a male.
And there's no reason there should be, but it is, and that's another thing that like
I can put in both my headphones and walk down the street.
Yeah, I will accept any drink a stranger gives to me with no concern.
That's not sex reason though.
Yeah.
or gender. I don't.
You're right.
Absolutely no concern. If someone hands me a drink at a party, I'm like, hell yeah, baby. No concern.
But the girl's like, oh, let me, like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna drink what I got because I don't know what the fuck you put in.
And like girls should be able to leave each other at parties and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is dominance, right? Because, like, girls can't do anything because guys feel physically dominant than them, and they feel like they can do whatever they want because girls can't do anything about it.
And to be fair, in most cases, a guy would be stronger than a girl. There's cases where there's not, but like most of the time,
Yeah,
But it's upsetting.
but that's like a
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
right to like assume that or like practice that way thinking, but like that's just a normal biological
And-
concept where most males are bigger than the females.
and that's basically why guys feel. Well, I don't know why guys feel it's okay to
Yeah,
harass
it's
women,
not okay.
but that I feel like
Yeah.
that's why, and they feel like it's okay they can get away with it because I mean, like they're like, "Oh, what's the girl gonna do?" And
What,
I hope-
throw me?
I hope
Like-
you kick him in. I hope you kick him in his genitals and like.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
Give him
who
a
said it
broken
last night. I don't know if it was you or Wildy, but somebody said it happens in groups too. Like,
Oh, that was
multiple
bro.
guys
Said that.
like at
Like-
parties, it's multiple guys that like talk to a girl at once. That's like, or on the side of the street. Like, that's not okay.
Hey, shawty, what you doing, bro? You don't, because they're not gonna say that by themselves.
And who? I mean,
You're
if
not-
we're being realistic, how many girls respond to that? If 4 guys are talking to you, how many girls respond to like, "Oh, I'm okay," like, motherfucker?
like,
Hey,
yeah,
calm
no,
down.
Yeah, it's not
I don't
even
know.
about like what the girl wants. It's just sort of about making her feel uncomfortable. Like they like feeling in control in that moment.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like,
it's real. It's I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
that's
that's-
real fucking weird.
that's like
You're a group
definitely
of 4 guys talking to one girl, real
Yeah.
objectively.
You know it's bad. I've heard a girl. She said she was walking down the street one night. It was like it was night. It was dark, and she saw like a group of guys walking, and she said she just felt uncomfortable and had to cross the street. Like that is a whole ass fear.
The
You
fact
should not like. You should be able to walk through, and
walk
they
to point A to point
yeah,
B.
they should either not say anything or ask like, "Oh, do you know where you're going?" You're like, "You okay?" Okay, like they. But like, I feel like guys, it's such a bad spot now. Guys, even if they ask that, it sounds weird. Like
Yes.
you can't even say like, "Oh,
But, like,
you know,
how's your day?
yeah, like do you need help with like do you need help getting home?" Like I can tell you, it's like there. Like I still feel like they're afraid, and they have the right to be afraid because
Yeah.
like everything I hear, like everything that has been said is crazy.
And that's also why if I see like an attractive girl and I don't want to be like, "Hey, you look really good," like I don't want to come off as like
Mhm.
weird because or like like make someone
Well,
uncomfortable.
maybe not say that, but
But on the opposite side of what you're saying, like the fact that we don't have to walk down the street with pepper spray or taser is, and a girl's like basically like at night they do. It's still crazy to me. The fact that my
Yeah.
mom and my sister carry around pepper spray and I don't have to carry around anything is still like
Dumbfounding, dude.
it's like wild to me.
My daughter's carrying a knife.
I told Cameron and Willie
big old
yesterday,
knife, bro.
my daughter's going to be able to use a taser by the time she's able to walk.
She's gonna pop it out like Assassin's Creed right out this.
Hell yeah, dog. I've been thinking about this for a minute.
I'm just saying,
It's
like,
funny.
yeah,
About
so, like, I just want.
It's upsetting that it's going to have to be like that at some point.
'Cause
it's
I
also
already,
really
already know
fun.
I have a daughter. At first I was saying I don't want a daughter. Now I really want a daughter. But
Why do you really want a daughter?
I want a daughter. Fuck
I work-
that. I've never said I don't want a daughter.
I do want a daughter to sing Frozen.
I work. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Frozen. I'll be real
I have a daughter.
honest. I've never watched Frozen.
I'll just say I'm gonna take her out of school and take her to the
I'm
mall just cause.
Yeah.
Bro, right? Like that sounds. I work at
A
Reach.
mommy-daughter date? Or
Daddy daughter.
daddy-daughter date?
I work at retail and like I see like dads come in with just their daughter and like I'm assuming the mom is gone and like the girl's like, "Oh, daddy, you I think you look good in this," and I think that's like so adorable because they're like 4 years old. It really made me want a daughter. I also want a son still too though.
I want
So,
like one of you.
I'm
Like
being real honest,
ideally,
most sons are mommy's girls. Or mom.
Oh yeah, I know, but I mean like I feel like I just
Oh, yeah.
I kind of like 2 boys.
Are you?
I'll tell you.
Are you a
Yeah.
mama's boy?
Oh yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Okay,
For
cool.
sure.
I'm a mama's boy. But
Yeah,
I feel like
I
You
know.
say a mom?
I know. you are.
The fact that we're like,
Tyler's rubbing off.
we spend a lot of like time with our moms
yeah.
because a lot of time like dads are mostly at work the
I mean,
whole
to
time.
be honest, my dad was gone for like years.
Mhm.
Like years.
Yeah, my dad worked down the hill, so he was home for like 4 hours or 2 hours before I fell asleep. So I think it has to do with time you spent with who you were with.
My dad went to work and then had basketball practice right after work.
Yeah, so you're like with him like an hour before you went to
Like
bed.
at
or
some
something.
point in my life, right? I saw my
not to say that I did the other. I still love him dearly.
365
It's just,
consecutive days before I saw my dad.
Dang.
That's crazy.
And that's happened multiple times just because he was in the military.
Yeah.
So like naturally I'm closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
And
necessarily
that's
like you
not-
have a favorite. It's just like naturally like you spend more time like
Yeah.
physically you spend more time with one more than
I know Daryl's mom was.
Bro, Daryl's dad is. Dead.
Bro,
Bro,
Daryl's
you
dad-
are.
You're,
I feel like
you
you-
are your dad.
I feel
Fuck
like
that.
I am not my dad.
Oh.
We're so different.
You and your dad are like twins.
Horse.
Horse divorce. Hey, you know that's my
What?
redemption.
It cut out.
That's my horse's name, and it's my horse's name in Red Dead Redemption is divorce. I'm like, hey guys, it's my.
That's so fucking funny.
If your dad was my principal, I would have the time of my life.
Dude, yeah. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. My dad. He's alright. I really wish you would play any of the video games he buys, but he never does. Makes me so mad. Hey Dad, what'd you get? I got Assassin's Creed. You play it yet? I'm like, yeah. Did you? Not yet. Not yet. I'm getting to it though. I'll get there.
My students have told me about it. I'm getting there.
Back to the male and woman
Female
topic.
stuff, yeah.
I feel like guys gotta like step up and be like, as soon as
Like,
they
hey, this isn't okay.
as soon as they see,
Check
like,
your
hey, stop,
shins.
like stop touching her. Like, what
Yeah,
are
like,
you
leave
doing?
her alone,
She
like-
doesn't want. Like, she obviously doesn't want to be around you.
We gotta speak up. Yeah. Dude, remember that
think
Gillette
that ties in-
commercial?
Other thing too.
People gotta step up.
I think. I mean, that's when I said there's
In
white
general,
privilege. I think if I see another white person saying the N word, I have the obligation to say like, hey, don't say that shit. Like, I don't know.
And you know what? I feel like now that I said that, I feel like a hypocrite now because I saw it late, but I saw that that gay bashing on Twitter. I should have said something. I should have said something. I saw it late. Being late still doesn't mean anything. I should.
Yeah.
And I feel like people just gotta step up.
Yeah, like
And I feel like
Gillette
some of the
commercial
stuff-
where it's like the best a man can be, like be better, and like all the dudes started boycotting Gillette because they're like, you can't tell us that all men are bad. It's like they just said be better. They just said.
And if you're offended, like were we talking, Aaron, me, you, Willie? If you're offended about something like about all guys,
Then you're part of the
yeah,
problem.
you're part.
like it's 9 times out of 10, those are the guys.
Because of the boycott that came after. Like, even I watched PewDiePie's video about it. And he said something. It's like even if their message came off as weird, like they still made a decent message. Like, I don't know.
Everybody boycotting that was part
So
of the problem.
if you were hurt by, like, maybe you should take a look at yourself.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're a bad person.
Where it's like boys will be boys, but like maybe just don't do this one weird thing that they're portraying.
Yeah, like just because it's like as a society, it's like seen as normal. It's probably not normal. Like
Boys will be boys is weird. Like I understand, like
in the commercial, it had some guy like catcalling somebody, and some guy like saying, "Hey, stop that!" And the people boycotted that.
Said,
Like,
you mean
what?
we shouldn't
Like,
harass
You're
women?
telling me that we should keep harassing people that we don't know on the street? Like I understand. Okay,
It's like,
like if you see somebody attractive, be polite and respectful about it, and like go up and talk to them, but don't catcall somebody.
my thing is don't do it in a group. If
Yeah.
you see, you gotta be man enough. Just if you're gonna talk to them, you gotta be man enough to go up by yourself. It's,
That's right.
and it can be while she's in the group. If you're really man enough, you just do it while she's in the group.
That
That's
takes
so-
a lot of
Yeah,
confidence.
bro, you know how I got that girl's number actually?
Huh.
We gotta sign her mid, which is it's kind of like stupid of me to be like, hey, like you want to like just bounce ideas off each other, whatever. But like I was skating down the hill, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna ask for her number. So I like foot braked. I was like, hey, can I?
I would have died if you were said you were Heelys and foot brakes.
Heelys?
Like the heel brakes. Like, can I get your number?
No, I was on my skateboard. I was like, hey, can I get your number so we can bounce ideas off the because she wasn't really clear what she wanted.
I feel like it's real less aggressive. Guy tries to get a girl's number in public during the day.
Yeah, it was like 9:40
Yeah.
in the morning.
But I feel like if it's at night when they're walking home,
That's weird.
don't do that.
Yeah, just leave her alone.
There's a lot of times where I see
I
people
was
walking,
walking
like
them home.
if I see a girl walking at college by themselves, I'm like, I don't really want them to walk like by themselves. But if I pull over and say like, "Hey, do you want want to ride to where you're going.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of
That's
weird.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Like,
So
I don't want to do
hard
that,
to-
but like, I
And at the
do
same time, it's like I really don't want this girl like walking by herself all the way down Bear Valley Road. Like that's I don't know. That's a weird
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I've thought of that too.
Same.
Yeah.
And also, like, girlfriends in it.
Well, yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
This is a very
Rip Kim.
good. We're at an hour and 4 minutes. So far we've done
Already?
Again?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dog, we've
Yeah,
done like a
we're
lot.
getting through this stuff.
My bad.
This
This
is
is
all
some
very
quality.
good stuff. This is like really good podcast right here, guys.
I think this one's better than the first
I think
one.
this one's better than the first
This
one.
one's better than the first one.
The first one, I was a little pissed off from the first one. I'm sorry.
The first one we had some.
Remember-
I'm
Half hour.
I'm
ago.
sobered up now. That's why.
The first one had some good conversations, and there's a couple parts where it's like.
Just
There was
use the
a lot
second
to go check. That's what it
The
was.
second one's a lot better.
Daryl, you're cutting off the last half hour of the first one.
No, he's just not using it. He's using.
I'm going to
Okay.
use...
He's gonna take the intro from the first one and add on to the second one.
Honestly, that'd be better. Like, he did like the first like 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can just do that.
And
This is
copy
gonna
and
be a
paste
long
it.
episode. There's going to be a lot of editing, but I'm very glad with how it turned out. You guys did a very good job. This might be my best episode.
Social issues. This is a social issues podcast.
You know what the episode title is?
Huh.
Rip Willy.
We all talk shit. Yeah, you know what? It is going to be Rip Willy. I was going to have it be clickbait and be like, we all talk shit about Julio. But you
He
know what?
talked for the first 10 minutes. This is like, I'm good.
But yes, actually, good job. Good job. I'm going to stop.
Be better.
Just be better.
Be better.
Just period.
Be better.